Hi, everybody. So I want to talk about something really important, and I encourage you to just kind of spend some time thinking through that for yourself. A lot of people come into healing, come into therapy with an image of what it should look like, right? That it's calm, it's steady, and always moving forward, right? And that's generally our desire, but the actual truth, unfortunately, is that those are unrealistic expectations and they can actually set us back on our healing journey. When healing doesn't match the picture that you have in your head, it's really easy to feel dejected, like nothing is working, or like you're back at square one. Very, very easy to fall back into that. But activations, triggers, or painful emotions coming back, they're not a sign that you're going backwards. Healing happens little bit at a time. You work through one piece, and when your system is ready, another piece rises to the surface, right? So it kind of, your brain kind of gives it to you in little portions because we can't handle it all at once, and our bodies know that primitively, but our brains have a hard time cognitively understanding that. So our bodies kind of start taking care of that process for us and just giving us one piece at a time, a little bit at a time. And then if I trust that process, then healing starts happening and I don't give in to that piece of, oh, this is so volatile and I must have, I'm not doing the right thing. I'm all the way back to square one. So just keeping in mind that when stuff like that happens, this is not regression. It's your body giving you access to the next layer of healing. And that's rough. It took you a while to heal from that first piece that you've been working on. And now you're moving into another phase. And it feels like it's all coming back again. That's really gross in so many ways. So that's really tough. But if I keep in mind that progress is not measured by never being activated again, right? Very important concept. It's measured by what happens after. What that means is that over time, the same emotions and the same trauma responses lose intensity. I don't respond with the same intensity, but that doesn't mean that I'm never activated again. So they last a much shorter time, perhaps, or maybe you don't unravel like you did before or the first time or the same way. And sometimes in the moment, it's hard to remember to compare from what it used to be like and what it is like right now. But that is the real arc of healing. Each time something resurfaces again, your brain rewires. It's like you're bringing that traumatic event or that incident or whatever it is, you're bringing it right to the surface and you're working on it. And then it comes back, it goes back, and it consolidates in your brain, right? And your brain has a center for emotions, has a center for physical sensations, has a center for memory, all of those, right? So it just sorts it back out. And then you get a trigger. Then it's recalled again and it comes to the forefront again. And when it comes again, that's another opportunity for us to do more work. So then your brain rewires again, right? And it works on it one more time. And then the same process happens again. That back and forth, every time it's recalled, when we are actually doing work, which is what we're doing in therapy, we're doing work. Um, we heal little by little, right? So just keeping in mind that something is happening, but it's still painful. It's still difficult. Each time something resurfaces, your brain rewires. You recover faster over time, you learn something new, you grow stronger, and that is really pretty much what neuroplasticity is. It's that my brain is elastic enough and the neurons can move and morph and change that when I recall and I do the work does actually happen. This is the science of how our brains can actually change. And I've heard this several times. Oh, I'm too old to change. Or, I know that at this point, I've been doing this way for as long as I can remember. I don't think that that's going to change. And that's not true. What research has been showing us is that change is possible up until the day we die, basically. And if that's at 50 or that's at 60, 70, 80, 90, there is research that says it doesn't matter the age. Is it harder when we're older? Probably. We need more work because we've been doing the same thing for longer, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible. It does need our willingness to do the work. our curiosity around what's going on within us, and us really putting that first step forward and really putting effort in. So if you're experiencing any of these things, it's not a red flag. It's actually a green light that your system is finally healing, right? And that's what trauma healing really looks like. It's not always calm, it's often chaotic, if I'm being honest. You might cry more, feel more. Some people feel it in anger, some people feel it physically with tears. And it might come out of nowhere. That does not mean that you're breaking. It means your body is finally strong enough to release what's been buried underneath. You might miss people who hurt you, which is a very interesting concept. It's like, how is it that I miss this ex, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, they caused me so much hurt, but I have this piece in me that misses them. Like, what's wrong with me? Nothing. Missing them doesn't mean you're not healing. It means that your nervous system is slowly untangling love from pain and survival from attachment. I'm going to repeat that one more time because it may need a little bit of time to kind of, settle in. It means that your nervous system is slowly untangling love from pain. They're not the same thing, and they don't need to be connected that way. And it's also untangling survival from attachment. And these are really important for trauma healing. You might isolate even when you crave connection. It's like you want to stay connected, and it's almost like you sabotage. You do exactly opposite. And it looks like sabotage. It's not sabotage. This is self-protection, right? And with most of you, I talk about parts, and there's a part in us that really wants to protect us. And so it's not trying just purposefully to sabotage us and put us in a bad place. It's actually trying to help us, to protect us. And that's why it's isolating, just to create that sense of protection. Healing means that I can learn to feel safe with closeness again, but one small step at a time. It's not that all of a sudden I'm going to be like, yeah, bring it on, all the people, all the time. That's not going to happen realistically, right? And you'll have bad days even after a ton of growth. You are going to have bad days. And that's, again, not a red flag, not a sign that things are not going well. Healing is not a straight line. There are dips, there are spirals, and there are breakthroughs. And sometimes all three of them in 1 week. And I know, because I know some of you, all of you, I know that a lot of you have experienced that. Healing also doesn't mean that you'll never get activated or you'll never get triggered. Old emotions and patterns may still resurface. The difference is that in the recovery that you do, even when they resurface over time, again, you lose intensity, they pass more quickly, and no longer undo you the way that they once did. And I want you guys to focus on really paying attention to when that happens, because understanding that difference between the two, and that I used to be like this and I've grown and it's there, it's just not as intense. Recognizing that helps you realize that I am moving, I'm growing. You might outgrow people you once leaned on, and that sometimes is really hard. The more growing that you do, sometimes that creates chasms between you and people that used to be really close to you, because maybe they're not working on themselves, maybe they're not growing, and you're doing a lot of growing. So as you heal, your boundaries start becoming a lot clearer, and you start getting into the space of really needing to communicate these boundaries. You understand your internal boundaries, and you're able to set those for yourself and stick to them. And then you do the same for people too. You set boundaries outside of you. And not everyone will meet you there where you've set those boundaries. And the grief that you experience at those times is real. And so you can give yourself space and time for that. But so is the strength that it takes to grow beyond what once felt like home. It felt like home to just let people walk all over you. It felt right at some point. Yeah, there were resentments and there were pieces in you that didn't feel super comfortable, but it felt okay. It felt like home. That's what I'm used to. But as you grow, it becomes not okay. And you start needing to build those boundaries, and then there's loss that happens there, and it is okay, absolutely okay, to grieve that. And the last thing I want to share with you guys here, um, the last piece I want to share with you here is that you really don't have to heal alone, right? And so in therapy, we do a lot of one-on-one, right? But we do 50 minutes a week. When we're lucky, we do a time and a half. So like what, 75 minutes a week, and sometimes bi-weekly, sometimes monthly. But you take this chunk of stuff that we do here, and you gotta find a community. You've got to find somewhere where you can heal as well and do the work not by yourself, with a community. You don't heal faster by doing it by yourself. You just suffer longer, right? So I really want you to take that to heart and really think about what your support system looks like. Who is there? Who can you trust? Who can you start building trust with now that we're healing, right? Trauma is relational. It happens within relationships. And so healing is also relational. Healing happens within relationships as well, right? So just keep that in mind. We experience trauma within our relationships with people. So healing has to happen within our relationships with people as well. So let the support, whether it through therapy, coaching, or community, be a part of the medicine that is going to help you completely reach the goal that you want to reach.